Good morning. We are officially live.
Woo.
So we have the countdown. So we're live on Facebook and YouTube. So that was what we play right before it starts up at 7:15. So welcome.
Welcome. You can clap.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Yeah, I think we could, in the spirit of clapping, because I know at least two of us are here, and we appreciate Dan and Kathy's leadership in Chick-fil-A and Arthur and Blank Family Foundation. We had a great celebration with the Beloved Benefit, and yeah, give it up. So we really appreciate that, and I really appreciate, because at my community table, I sat with numerous people that I had met through the summits. And so I really appreciate, Dan, the way you really drew from, and your team drew, to have the community at it. And I didn't speak to any community member that didn't say they had a great, well, everyone had a great time.
Yes.
but a lot of people getting to know each other for the first time, and what comes from those relationships is really awesome. So thank you. But for those that are first time here, this event occurs the first and third, the first Friday. So who's first time at this? Like first time? All right.
Welcome.
First time ever? Like, did you watch it when we were watching on? So like first time, so you saw the video, but first time here. Okay, so welcome. Thank you for being here. And I think you're part of the program, so special thank you. But our program this morning for the first time folks, we're going to talk a little bit up here this morning, do the show overview. Then we're going to do a devotion. And we always have as part of our program a devotion to kind of ground it. And then when the devotion is finished, I think we'll have more people in by then, but we always, back to the spirit of the Beloved Benefit, to get to know each other, we take a moment for introductions. So we'll do that. And then we're going to move to our program speaker, Village United, who's more famous every day, just in the newspaper. So we're very excited. And I was saying to her earlier, on the Beloved Benefit, they had 8 beneficiaries. Westside Future Fund was one. They announced each of them as they're going through them. When number 1 went, I was like, okay, that's not the Westside Future Fund. Number 2 went, that's not the Westside Future Fund. By number 7, I'm figuring out we're going to be number 8. But I followed Village United, and of course she's shown on that big screen. She's shown so bright on that screen. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot follow her. But congratulations. So we're pleased about all of that. And we're very pleased to have my co-hosts, and they're probably thinking, when's he going to stop talking? But now I thought...
Oh, you're fine. It's very much needed information. So my name is Ebony Ford. I'd like to add my welcome to you all here watching from home or here in person. We appreciate you. I am a proud Hollis Innovation Academy parent. I have a rising second grader. Yes, thank you so much. I am a very, very proud English Avenue resident, so I live right here in the neighborhood. And I also just started a job at Quest Communities as the Director of Community Building and Engagement. Yes. So thank y'all. Appreciate you.
All right.
Cool. And Quest has also been a beneficiary of Beloved as well. Sorry.
Yeah, we want to take a moment of self-reflection. Like, is it fair to say you met Quest through Transform Westside Summit?
Yes, it is extremely fair to say
All right.
that. Yes, so Westside Future Fund has literally changed my life.
But it's the connection that come through building
Yes.
community. That was the point I really wanted to, yeah.
Absolutely, yes,
Right.
yes. This Westside Future Fund coming here, you network, you socialize, you get to eat good food, free Chick-fil-A. I mean, come on, can you beat that? So this is the place to be every first and third Friday, as Mr. Ahmann said. So appreciate y'all being here.
Hello, good morning. What's good, you beautiful people? My name is Benjamin Earley. I'm so excited to be here with y'all. I'm a fourth generation Westside native, you know, so my blood runs Westside to say the least. I'm really excited to hear from our special guest, especially Dr. Key and, you know, all of her fantastic staff over at Our Village Market and Our Village United, excuse me. They do amazing work to accelerate black businesses throughout Atlanta, and they touch businesses in up to, I believe it was 38 states. So they're really doing great work as far as helping to progress the theme of economic mobility for black entrepreneurs. And Our Village United focuses their Elevate program on solopreneurs, which is, you know, a very, very important thing, especially in a city like Atlanta, because there are a lot of solopreneurs in our city, and people who are talented, they have skill sets, they have, you know, vision, but they might not necessarily have access, might not necessarily have the network that they need in order to grow their business, get it off of the ground, and have it live up to its full potential. So shout out to Our Village United and the Elevate program for helping to accelerate those black businesses, and I'm excited to hear from everybody this morning. That being said, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Please be sure to like, subscribe, click, share all that stuff, man. The only way that this valuable information that we have here at the summit reaches people beyond who actually attends physically is if we share this information online. So please follow, like, subscribe to all of our channels, help us get this information out there. And with that being said, we're moving on to devotion, I believe. Mr. John Ahmann, head honcho, president and CEO, top dog, Westside Future Fund, my partner, you know what I'm saying?
All of that, all of that. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. I kind of forget sometimes, so reoriented. Thank you. And also, I was staring at it. Want to remind y'all, if you want to the full bulletin, it's via PDF. So if you want to see the full program, and then we have the bios for all the speakers, but we used to print them out, but we thought more responsible environmental stewardship is to distribute them electronically. So make sure that you do that. So we have Daminga Porter as our devotion speaker this morning. So thank you for doing that this morning. And for those that are first time, just to orientate, so our devotion actually was, along with the Transform Westside Summit, some of Dan's inspiration, and the devotion is to level set and to help draw inspiration for the devotion, the story of Nehemiah from the Old Testament. And so if you're not familiar, the story of Nehemiah it goes back to Jerusalem, the cupbearer to the king. So he has the blessing of the king, so lots of resources, implied authority, and to go rebuild the wall is part of the journey. But when my own reflection on it, it's really about how to rebuild community and a common set of values. That's my own reflection of Nehemiah, and there's a lot of lessons in it. So we just asked our speaker to kind of draw inspiration from it, not necessarily to go through it. And we always read the same grounding statement for our devotion, so I'm going to do that. It's become our tradition to begin our meetings with a positive, inspirational message from a member of our community. Recognizing that many in our community are driven by their spiritual faith to participate in the Westside revitalization effort, the time at the beginning of our meetings is an opportunity to share various inspirational reflections. While the speakers may articulate their personal faith, it's meant to be inclusive, inspiring, and meaningful with the story of Nehemiah as our guide. So we really appreciate folks who aren't necessarily professional devotion givers that give the devotion, so thank you. So Daminga is a change maker, community advocate, and native Atlantans. I'm a strong believer in the power of our community, and we know she's going to bring a lot of inspiration as a program manager for Village United. So come on up, and we'll get out of your way, but you can come on up.
Ooh, feels so different being up here than sitting in the crowd. But good morning, everybody. My name is Daminga Porter. As you guys heard, I work for an amazing organization called Our Village United. Like John said, I'm not a professional speaker up here, so I'm not trying to take you to church, but I'm gonna try to take you somewhere. I know my team didn't get a chance to review this devotion, but I hope they're moved by it too. So I'll be honest, when finding out I could provide the devotion this Friday, I was ecstatic but also nervous. We've heard amazing words from Dr. Gloria Dorsey, Reverend Taylor. I'm sitting back like, I don't know, how can I do this? What can I say? How can I contribute to this village? Nehemiah had those same thoughts. For those of you that didn't know, Nehemiah wasn't a king. He wasn't some high-regarded religious leader. He wasn't even rich. He was real blue-collar, a real regular guy. He was a cupbearer to the king. So every time the king was provided with food, provided with beverage, here was Nehemiah testing it to make sure nobody was poisoning the king. And he did this for a while. Through this position, he gained a lot of trust with the king, becoming one of his confidants. The book of Nehemiah records an important time in Jewish history. At this time, the Israelites returned to Jerusalem after their long captivity in Babylon. They returned and their beloved city was in shambles. The protective wall around the city of Jerusalem had been reduced to rubble. And it left the Israelites vulnerable to attacks by their enemies. And they had some enemies, if you've ever read Nehemiah. So Nehemiah, he was a type, he liked to keep his ear to the streets. He liked to know what's going on. So he was speaking with a friend and he said, hey, what's going on in Jerusalem? Nehemiah himself was Jewish. His friend tells him, you know what, things aren't actually going that well. It's been a half century since the return to Jerusalem, and the walls surrounding the city were still broken down. Now, what's interesting is that the temple within the city was rebuilt, their pride and joy, but their walls were still destroyed. Now, just keep that in mind. I'm going to come back to that, I promise. So Nehemiah was really distraught about this news. The Bible says he sat down and wept, fasting and praying before God. Nehemiah knew that these walls needed to be built back up, and his city needed the support to stand up against any opposition. So what does he do? He says, I got to go back home. So Nehemiah spoke with the king, and he said, hey, I have this feeling in my spirit, and I have to go help my people. Can I go? The king, he was being protected by poisoning for years, and he knew that Nehemiah was a loyal person. So with this loyalty known, the king said, yes, you can go. And matter of fact, here's some supplies, here's some troops, here's some horsemen, everything you need to be successful in your mission. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's a blessing if I ever heard of one. Now, let me paint this picture for you. Nehemiah is pressed to return to Jerusalem because not only do his people need to be protected, but at this time, if you don't have walls surrounding your city, that's shameful. A city with broken walls reveals a defeated people. The Jews who had returned to their homeland, not only were they defenseless to the attacks, but people were embarrassed of their community. These walls were like a foundation for the city. It established borders, it established safety, it established pride. But what happens to a house if you just start building? You put the walls up, you throw a roof on there, and no foundation. Well, the way this Georgia weather is, that rain comes, that house is gone. But in general, anything built without a foundation will crumble. Now, Nehemiah, again, a regular guy, a cupbearer to the Persian king, stepped up and said, no longer will my people in my community crumble. I have to do something. The foundation of my home is in shambles. So Nehemiah goes to Jerusalem. He's boots on the ground, and the wall gets built in 52 days. Guys, I have a lot of pride for Atlanta. I love Atlanta, all parts. As John says, the bankhead to the buckhead. I've lived on every side. I went to college here, if there's any Georgia State Panthers in the room. Shout out, hey. I work here, I live here, I play here. This is my home, and I have a lot of pride. But how can we build up all this pride for Atlanta and not want to protect what's inside? We need to rebuild our walls. We need to protect our communities. We need to support the influx of small business owners that are trying to make positive change within our economies. We need to protect legacy business owners that have become beacons for our neighborhoods. We need to develop strategies for economic growth within our communities that does not displace the people and the places that created that community. We need to rebuild our walls. The work that I do with Our Village United, it fuels me. We've had over 100 businesses come through Elevate, our business incubator. We've seen people's whole trajectory change because their business allowed them the opportunity to quit their 9-to-5 and get out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle. The work that we're doing, we're rebuilding brick by brick. But the wall is big, and it takes a village to build it back up. Now, Nehemiah was a regular man. John is a regular man. Dan Cathy is a regular man. Dr. Lakeysha Hallmon, an ordinary woman doing extraordinary things. Anybody in this room can be a Nehemiah. Our love for Atlanta has to transcend beyond the graphic tees and the hashtags. There's income disparity, the education gap, the lack of access. We need to rebuild the foundation necessary to protect what we love the most. When our walls are not secure, when we don't have that foundation, we're defenseless. And people can come in and make Atlanta something that it's not. So if you love this city like you say you do, we have to start rebuilding. Thank you. That's all I have for today.
Well, she said she didn't do it professionally, but I think if she got a hunkering for it, she might be able to. So let's no, that was awesome, and I really appreciate because you draw from your own heart. And so some of the things that I heard that really spoke loyalty. So the way you called out loyalty, because then it's like loyal. I think loyalty is a quality most of us would want to say we have. So loyal to what? And fidelity to what? And so speaking to how Nehemiah was drawn, to build his community and loyal to something that's pretty hard, and especially appreciate kind of connecting that back to, as a native Atlantan too. What are we loyal to as a native Atlantan? I think about that. Clearly you do, and especially, our city has so many resources. How do we help those, who have been in the city a long time suffering, and especially with economic empowerment through building and small business. So great. I would have to go back and watch that one again. It was wonderful. So let's say thank you one more time to her. All right. So this is the part where you all get to be live for a moment, or the focus of our live cameras for a moment, because we're going to do self-introductions. I'm going to take this microphone, and we'll start right here. And then for those that are first timers, what we'll ask is for you to stand up and say your name, and then whatever affiliation I work for here, I'm from here, and then not to say much of anything else after that. Just stop. Please stop. And the reason for that is just time, not any. And if you have things you want to promote to get out there, please let us know. Facebook feeds, social media feed, bulletin. So we definitely want to transmit the message, just the timing of when that message is transmitted. And especially, I noted earlier, because we take the time, noted earlier that the connection that Ebony made with Leonard Adams from Quest, and now she's helping support Quest. And the reason we do this is for those connections to occur. So as we're doing the introduction, we just really encourage you to listen to someone that, hey, that person might be able to help me advance the loyalty that I have to a vision, or vice versa. That's really why we take the time to do these introductions, is to encourage that connection. And I know this man knows exactly what to do.
Hi, good morning. I'm Neil Shorthouse with Partners in Change, and very thankful for the Westside leadership.
I'm Kathleen Bryant with Partners in Change, providing free life coaches to adults pursuing new goals.
First timer, Derek Jackson, co-owner, Whether or Not Warrant, my wife Jennet, who happens to be a panelist.
Good morning, I'm Dan Cathy with Chick-fil-A, and I'm a side hustle hairstylist for John Ahmann.
And
Good morning, my name is Tiffany Latrice. I'm the founder of Tila Studios, and I support Black women artists in Atlanta.
Good morning, Terry Nichelle Bradley. I'm the founder and CEO of Brown Toy Box.
Good morning, my name is Samantha Watkins, and I'm the executive director of Urban Perform.
Good morning, Colleen Higgins with the City of Atlanta Public Defender's Office. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Sandra Bush, and I'm a legacy resident of Booker T. Washington neighborhood.
Hello, my name is Darren Brown. I am the founder of Sound Gallery LLC, creating experiences for people, creative experiences.
Hi, my name is Keitra Bates, and I'm the founder of Marty's Shared Kitchen.
Good morning, first timer. My name is Waduda Muhammad. I'm the development manager at Atlanta Contemporary Arts Center. We're a nonprofit art museum right here in the West Side.
awesome, thank you.
Sean Walwood, the Home Depot backyard at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, pretty much just a hype man for everything West Side.
First timer, Emir Scaife. I work at BlackRock. That's my day job. Outside of BlackRock, I'm a, I guess you would say, like small-time developer. I'm actually kicking off my first project, affordable housing project. What I'm doing is building a unit with containers, shipping containers. I just got my designs yesterday, so if you guys want to see them, I'm more than happy to show them. I'm trying to get
Awesome.
excitement around that, but yeah.
Good morning, I'm Anthony Lawrence. First time back since the shutdown. I'm owner of Mr. Cheesecake and Grill.
Good morning, my name is Kelly Moman. I'm the owner of DFW Beads, and I am one of the small business that has come through the Elevate program.
Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Bianca Long, and I'm the development coordinator at Good Samaritan Health Center.
Good morning, I'm a first timer. My name is Monica Smith, and I'm one of the owners of Mr. Everything Cafe that's been on the MLK Carter since 1993.
Wow, thank you.
Good morning, family. I'm Tillman Ward, founder of Community Resources of Atlanta, based in historic Vine City. And our cause and our mission is to help Atlantans not become strangers in their own community, particularly the legacy residents. And thank you, Mr. Cathy, and all the favorite friends that helped in the benefit.
Yeah. We get everybody.
I'm Cherie Swan. I'm also an alumni of the Elevate program, but I'm also a photographer.
All right, thank you.
Harrison Curry, Icon Film Works.
Thanks. You ready?
Hi, I'm Karen Lindor. It's my first time here.
Thank you.
Michael Tyler, Hot Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kelsey Wright with the Westside Future Fund.
Hey, good morning, Westside. Charles Ford, Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, everyone. Rachel Carey, Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, everyone. Tamika Askew, Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, Deidre Strickland, Westside Future Fund.
Hey, everybody. Crystal Walker, Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Saxon Phillips. I'm a current intern at the Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, Crystal Williams, Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, Raquel Hudson, Westside Future Fund.
Ebony Ford again. I know y'all done seen me up there already. Just want to say I'm always repping Westside Future Fund. Just want to make that known. All right, all right.
Good morning, Natasha Anderson, Westside Future Fund.
All right, and if you're wondering, like so you just heard from Westside Future Fund Development Department, Real Estate Department, Finance Department, Volunteer Department. So we got our whole team here, so thanks, y'all.
Let's get the right shot for me. Here we go. Come on, get me lined up. Here we go. James Hammond, Icon Filmworks.
Brandon Brando, TMPAV.
Tasama Haskins, TMPAV.
David Herring, TMPAV.
Misty Kelly, TMPAV.
Shobek Cillian, TMPAV.
All right.
Elijah Randall, E-Rand Media.
Daryl Peak, Icon Filmworks.
Good morning, my name is Gerard Reynolds. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I work for Redclay-Hill as a public relations consultant.
Good morning. Glad to be here with you all this morning on this Friday. I'm Marvin Bussey with Teens at Work.
Great day, everyone. My name is Erin Blake. I'm the founder of Love, Live, Play, LLC on the southwest side of Atlanta. I'm a product of the West Side, born, raised, worked, and I also have business on the southwest side of Atlanta, and I am also a Elevate alumni.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Frank Morales. My wife and I are affordable housing providers in northwest and southwest Atlanta.
Good morning, Caitlin Behringer, Open Hand Atlanta and Mechanicsville resident.
Good morning, I'm Tracy Coleman, Executive Director at Grow Montessori School, located here in the West Side Atlanta.
Good morning, I'm Daryl Ashore with Chick-fil-A.
Good morning, Jerry Kiernan, AP.
Good morning. I'm Anne-Marie Bedke with Griffith Observatory Foundation.
Good morning, everybody. Nikita Robinson. I'm a mental health advocate and service provider in the Southwest Atlanta area. Psyche Wellness with a K. Thanks.
Good morning, guys. I'm a first timer. My name is Tyrone Ples. I'm a professional photographer here in the West End area.
Good morning, everyone. Jennet Jackson, owner of Weathered Not Worn, also alumni of Elevate. I'm also an assistant principal by day, so if anyone is needing a teaching position, please see me.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Norma Joy Barnes, CEO of the Community Council of Metropolitan Atlanta, founder of the Priority Mail Initiative, a member of the Advisory Council for Westside Works, and a third-generation member resident of the West Side.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is William Gordner. What a great place to be at 7:30 in the morning, man. Getting up at 6 and all that. I just love the energy in this place. I am a speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell organization, and I'm also a senior consultant with Nove. We fix credit. We help people transform their credit, and we help undercapitalized entrepreneurs find business funding.
All right, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jade Weatherington of Teacher Jade's Writing Academy. I'm here to share my experience about being in Elevate.
Good morning. I'm Joy Beckwith, and I'm the wellness coach for Elevate program and a part of Our Village United.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Lakeysha Hallmon, Dr. Key. I'm serving 2 roles today as the founder and CEO of the Village Market, a newly recipient of the Beloved Benefit. And also, I get to serve this amazing organization that we'll talk about today as the executive director and founder of Our Village United.
Great morning.
All right. My name is M. Cole Jones. I am Dr. Key's hype man. That's who I am. That's all I do all day, every day. And I am Dan Cathy's first hair client. So you can get my testimony about that later. But happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Raven Thrower. I am the marketing and brand manager with Our Village United.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Smith, and I'm a business coach with Our Village United.
Good morning again. My name is Daminga Porter, program manager for Our Village United, coming out of the beautiful neighborhood of Pittsburgh in South Atlanta.
All right, well, Ebony and Benjamin go up. I will make sure anyone, I saw one person come in and get to introduce, but if you didn't get to introduce, all right. Name and organization, yes, please.
Good morning, everyone. I am Trish Miller. I'm the owner of the largest Black-owned swim school here in Atlanta for both youth and adults. It's called Swim School with an E.
Awesome. All right, well, give yourselves a hand. Thank you for taking the time.
I think she walked in too.
Do we have another one? I was being pointed.
Sorry, and I just called you out. There she walked in.
You can't now. Now the spotlight is on. We're all waiting.
Good morning. My name is Ree. I'm founder and owner of Divine Art. We're a local wearable wellness brand bringing together style and good vibes. And yeah, I'm excited to be here.
All right, well, thank you. And I'm noticing a theme. I really feel a lot of small business owners here today. So raise your hand if you're a small business owner, founder. Yeah, so fantastic. So thank you for being here this morning. Oh, wait, this is a board member of the West Side, so I definitely want to get this.
Good morning. I'm a Chick-fil-A fan. Chantel Aber, Westside Future Fund Board.
All right. Thank you.
And speaking of board members, just doing a quick social check-in. We got Miss Sylvia Russell watching on YouTube. Douglas Dewberry also tuned in. And just wanted to tell everybody that's watching online right now, go ahead and be sure to drop your questions if you have a question for our amazing panelists this morning, so that we can get to them during the Q&A. But just a quick shout out to a couple folks watching right now. Miss Chantel Herbert Clark, thank you for tuning in. Mother Moore, I love you so much. I need to come see you, but we'll see you at St. Mark's. Thank you for tuning in. Gloria Dorsey, Miss Jania Billingsley, excuse me. Myra Walters, thank you. Valerie Williams, Sherry Belil, those are our parent Avengers from the Booker T. Washington Cluster, and you got to get the right. You got to get that part right. It's not Booker T. Washington Cluster, it's the Booker T. Washington Cluster.
Yes.
So thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate all the work that you do to help, you know, improve the quality of life for historic West Side students as well as their families. And
Absolutely.
Ebony, I know we got to move right along here. You take it away, man.
I have a few announcements. I want to, first of all, for people who are new to Westside Future Fund, which we do have a few first-time visitors today. So if you guys are not aware of our mission at Westside Future Fund, it is to create a community that Dr. King would be proud to call home. So we're working on that mission, doing the good work in the neighborhoods every day, okay? And we do that with the help of our board of directors. I think we have a slide. There you go. And this is, I just want to let you guys know, this is a volunteer board. So none of these people are paid for the work that they do, the service that they do for the West Side on behalf of Westside Future Fund. So we're very grateful for them. We're also very grateful for our Westside Future Fund team, and I think we have a slide with them as well. Thank you. Ooh, that team is growing, isn't it? So very, very thankful for the work that they do. And there's a few people that are actually not on this slide that we're thankful for. Mr. Benjamin Earley here, Ms. Janora Crook, Ms. Kelsey Wright, and Mr. Derek Jordan. And a lot of the team from Westside Future Fund is actually here helping with the summit today, as they were introduced earlier. So we're again, very grateful for them. I'm going to go ahead and read this just to make sure that I do get all the information perfectly correct. So Westside Future Fund does offer community tours, and it's every second Saturday of each month. And it's a community tour of the historic West Side, so you can kind of get out there and see the neighborhoods and kind of see the work that Westside Future Fund is doing in the neighborhoods. So please sign up for that. Registration is required. So sign up on our website, westsidefuturefund.org. And also, I think Benjamin mentioned earlier, Party with the Past. So in partnership with the Atlanta History Center, Westside Future Fund is bringing Party with the Past to the West Side. It's a fun way to connect Atlantans with historic sites around the city. And in June, we actually sponsored an event at the Omanella, and I think I'm saying that correct. Omanella? Omanella. Thank you. Afrocentric History Museum in Asheville. And on July 28th, we are bringing festivities to English Avenue, which again is my neighborhood at St. Mark's Church. So you may have noticed the church, I think it's like on the corner of Cameron Alexander and Brawley. Yes, thank you. So I've seen it from afar, so I'm very excited to kind of see it up close, and hopefully you guys will come out as well. Again, that is July 28th. And I don't know if you have to visit our website to register for that, but just go ahead and try that, okay? westsidefuturefund.org to see if there is a place to register and come out and see us again July 28th. And it'll be live music, food trucks, socializing, and making new friends, which is what we always do here at Westside Future Fund. So again, July 8th. And also, and I'm doing a lot of talking, I'm almost done, okay? We're almost gonna get to the panel. If you did not get your cards to be entered into the raffle, a gift card from Goodwood, North Georgia, or Home Depot, there's Rachel in the back. So make sure you do get your tickets. If you did not, I don't want you to wait till I get to the end and I go to pulling and you say you didn't have a chance. So please go ahead and get your tickets again to get entered into the raffle to get a gift card. All right, I'm done.
Again, thank you all for joining us this morning. I'm excited to bring up our featured guest this morning representing Our Village United. And as they're coming up to the stage, we're gonna roll this intro video just to show you a little bit about what the Elevate program is.
Elevate.
right, thank you so much. And we're going to bring up our first group, which is going to be the team members of Our Village United. And we're going to start with Dr. Key Hallmon. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's give her a round of applause. Also coming to the stage, she introduced herself as Joy Beckwith, but y'all, you got to put a little bit of respect on her name because this is Dr. Joy Beckwith. She is a clinical psychologist. And last but not least, Mr. M. Jones, small business champion at Our Village United. Thank you all for joining us this morning. So let's just hop right into it. And we can start with you, Dr. Key. What's the mission and the vision of Our Village United?
Sure. We're really excited to be here. So before we jump into the conversation, I want to thank the Westside Future team for having us. John, Crystal, Sonia, Deidre, all the people who I get to talk to all the time. I'm really grateful to be here today. But in 2019, I believe, I had the Village Market going and growing, and it was making a huge impact in the city of Atlanta. But as a former educator, and Jennet would attest to this, that you can put entrepreneurs in front of a large audience, and we grew up to thousands of people being able to come to the Village Market, but if that education piece is missing, then you miss a moment that you can really help an entrepreneur. It's the adage of teaching someone to fish. If you teach a person to fish, they can fish every day. Elevate was created to make sure that businesses do just that, elevate. We focus on sole proprietors because, like the 95% of the black entrepreneurs in the city, I was one. I was a person who built my business as a Village Market when it was just me. And then I got one other person, then I got one other person, then I got one other person. But I remember the hours that I labored with this vision to create a beloved village, and it was extremely hard. And what I've experienced with entrepreneurship, that if you have the support system, if you have the team, if you have the village, there is nothing that can stop you. So we got the nonprofit together, Our Village United, work with Dr. Joy and some other brilliant people that's on the team that's not here today to start building out a curriculum that focused heavily on sole proprietors. We wanted to make sure that we took care of all of those foundational needs, those questions that sometimes we're intimidated to ask as entrepreneurs, because when you get people on stage, they seem to know all the things. So the people who are a little afraid to raise their hand that's sitting in the back, Elevate is for those entrepreneurs. Elevate is for those entrepreneurs, people like Jennet, people like Jade, people like Divine Art and the other entrepreneurs here today, that we see something so dope and so exceptional in you. And what we want the village to do is put a booster on your back so you can elevate, because we know that you're going to be socially responsible to pour into the community. That was a long answer, I'm sorry.
No, that was beautiful. I mean,
Okay.
Well said, appreciate it. And just speaking more to the Elevate program, Mr. Jones here, if you would, just give us more detail about what the program entails, how the businesses find their way into it.
Oh man, so I'm gonna try my best to keep myself together on the stage. It's just so emotional.
Man, listen, you can be as you know, real. That's what this is about. And I wanna. This is a great point, because at these summits, it's not about just doing stuff for pomp and circumstance. Like, these are real connections that we making here. I almost broke down one day when we were talking about the relationship between police and the black community, and growing up on the West Side. So you can literally be as transparent as you want to be. I just wanted to say that. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I have Dr. Joy here to keep me together. But the program is just so phenomenal. We have the opportunity to really help these solopreneurs, these micro businesses, go from 0 to 100 in 0 to 12 weeks, right? And the opportunity that we have, speaking from a place of truth. All of us have, been where they are. And arguably, we're still on our journey as well when it comes to like entrepreneurship, the different facilitators that we have, the technical assistance that we provide, and then our wellness component. I mean, I'm not gonna take Dr. Joy's, thunder, but that wellness component is like our secret sauce in regards to being able to make sure that we are taking care of the whole business, the whole solopreneur.
And Dr. Joy, why don't we actually get to the wellness component? What have you learned from your work with the wellness focus groups?
I think we learned what we know the numbers when it comes to, in the general community, we know the numbers when it comes to anxiety. We know the numbers when it comes to depression. and we may know the symptoms or what burnout feels like. And it was confirmed when we got solopreneurs together. Those numbers are higher when it comes to being an entrepreneur. So we saw it on a larger scale. On a smaller scale, we know that we are 6 times more likely as an entrepreneur to have anxiety. We're 3 times more likely to be depressed. We know that, hey, you're tired, you're making all of these decisions, and we know that they don't even know the signs. We often don't know the signs of burnout. And so I think it confirmed what we see in the community. It's like, well, we're coming from the community, building a business for the community. And so it highlighted that these things are not only present when it comes to entrepreneurs, but at an elevated rate.
Dr. Key, what drove you to move towards having mental health and having this aspect be a part of the program? Because as Dr. Georgia said, like, that is a big thing. You know, I can speak for myself as an entrepreneur. Like, I've experienced depression at the lowest of lows, and that's very much a real thing. And, you know, thankfully I can say that I made it out of that, and I'm in a much better place now. But just talk a bit about what drove you to incorporate that into the program.
I couldn't imagine creating an incubator, creating any programming without wellness being a large foundation of that. Daminga spoke earlier about the foundation of a company. What I do know to be true, if you're building and you're building with community, there is no way that you can talk about economic mobility and we haven't talked about the mobility of our spirits. We have to care about how the body is doing before we care about how the business is doing. And so if the body is doing well, the business does well. It's a byproduct. And so the beautiful thing about my work, though, Benjamin, I don't do this alone. And so I got to meet with Dr. Joy about the Elevate program before it was a thing and said, how can we make wellness the roots, the foundation, and not that thing that you do at the end, but the thing that you do at the beginning, in the middle, and the end, and we still follow up about that. And so Dr. Joy and I, Ranada, Marta, spent a great deal of time making sure that we talked to entrepreneurs and we assessed ourselves.
Yes.
We talked about how we felt during a pandemic. We talked about the times when Dr. Joy, who also has her own business as well, when she has a lot of clientele and a lot of responsibility. We talked about that Superman and Superwoman complex. And so before we go and put something in a community, we assess our own values and how we feel, and then we talk to the community. We talk to entrepreneurs. We talk to hundreds of entrepreneurs about how they were feeling internally and how would they feel about having someone like Dr. Joy at the table asking you those vulnerable questions. Even then, we saw in the conversations, it didn't start this way, Dr. Joy. At first, the guys would be a little uptight, didn't want to talk about the feelings. But then by the end of the incubator, the guys were leading the conversations, talking about their feelings. And so what we did about emotions and emotional intelligence is that we humanized it, because we bring the humanity to all the work that we do with Our Village United, with Elevate. I do not want an incubator that solely talks about economic mobility and we're not talking about people and how they feel.
And I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad you made the point about the men, because, you know, as a black man, quite frankly, growing up, there isn't a lot of, or there was not a lot of support for our mental health, especially growing up in the urban setting. And so, you know, we just got the old, you know, if you hurt, walk it off talk when we were coming up as boys or whatnot. And so that develops into a whole complex that you have as a man. And when I was coming out of my depression, I realized that a lot of my healing was in the fact that I hadn't addressed certain issues from my childhood, including the fact that I had an absent father, and not realizing how deeply ingrained in myself that trauma was and how that affected pretty much everything else that I moved. But it's only when you can shine a light on certain things that haven't been at the forefront of your mind that you can actually heal from them. And, you know, it's crazy just how much more life opens up to you after you make that step. So I'm happy that you all are engaging folks like that. Cole, if you would, just talk a bit about the decision to make it focused on, to make Elevate focused on solopreneurs versus just businesses in general.
Yeah, so I mean, 99% of small businesses are solopreneurs, you know, and as an entrepreneur, you know, myself, it can be really challenging, right? Because, you know, oh, you have this great idea, and to you it's a great idea, and to your mama, and your cousins and sisters and brothers, it's a great idea too, right? You know, so now you're moving. And you're like, okay, you're starting to get that first customer. You're starting to get that second customer, right? And you feel like you got some traction, but then it gets challenging because it's like, well, I haven't even set up a LLC for my business, and well, is a LLC the right thing for my business? Do I need to? What's a trademark, right? So there's so many things that you don't think about because you're running your business, right? And you think that you don't have time to stop, because you have to continue to try to find a way to provide, right? So it can be very, very challenging. And even though there may be resources here and resources there, there's fragmentation. So we wanted to really create that village mentality, that village mindset to say, how can we really be intentional about being able to serve this population? So and that's one of the reasons why, we felt that angst in regards to why wellness was important. We created, different buckets from operations to marketing to sales to fundraising, but it's more than just a curriculum, we had to make sure we had dynamic facilitators who actually can speak to those areas, right? Anyone can just kind of go through, slides in a presentation, but to be able to have our facilitators just give a specific examples of their journey in regards to what they have done, not just their successes, but their failures. So solopreneurs need to hear that. They need to know that it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to not know what you don't know. But part of our job, my role as a small business champion, as well as my partner here, Chris, Team M-Code, Team Chris. but part of our job is to, yes, it's okay for you to be vulnerable, but also once you know what you now know, there's that accountability element, right? And we really try to help them elevate, collectively as a unit. So
that's excellent. Dr. Key, if you could address the wonderful partnership that you have with the Blank Foundation and now Westside Future Fund for Elevate Westside, and if you could just talk a bit about that program.
Sure thing. What we're really excited about is that we're expanding the work. We will be in Mississippi in 2 months, and so there will be an Elevate Mississippi. We're working with a group out in California, so there'll be Elevate in a very special city in California. But what we're really excited about is that we've partnered with the Blank Foundation, working on our partnership with the Westside Future Fund for Elevate West. And so we will be focused on serving entrepreneurs, small business owners, restaurateurs, specifically on the West Side, to bring this program to ensure that the businesses have the resources, that they know all the plugs in the city, that they get the capital. Because one thing that my friend Terry, who's in the audience, says, that you can incubate a business to death. You have to make sure that they have the capital. So what we're going to do with Elevate Westside is make sure that these restaurateurs, these legacy businesses, people like Mr. Everything that's been on the West Side for years, get the support that they need to really be able to elevate and to scale that business, to keep hiring and employing and boosting the community that's been there for years on the West Side. So we're really excited to get going, but none of the work is made possible without partnerships. If you all don't take anything else from this conversation today, is that all the work that we've been able to do from Village Market to Our Village United is because we've been able to broker amazing relationships. Amazing relationships that had tangible goals on the end, where we don't spend a lot of time talking about what we're going to do. We spend a lot of time implementing, measuring, course correcting, and then going back out there to do it even better than we did the first time.
And
she said a word right there.
I'm telling you. And Dr. Key and M. Cole, if you could talk about what specific services will Elevate Westside incorporate, and how, and also when you get to that, how soon are businesses prepared to enter into the program? So, and we can come back to that, but what specific services are you?
So I think with this question, M. Cole can talk about the mentoring that we do, the small business coaching that he and Chris does, which is amazing. I think Dr. Joy should also talk about the wellness focus, what we'll be bringing to the West Side.
Awesome. So within our program, we have, so Saturday kind of serves as like our program day. where we'll give you the great food, give you the great information, give you the knowledge that you need, right? But there's a thing called learning while doing, right? So Wednesday, is our day where we say, okay, everything that you learned on Saturday, we need to apply that now. Earlier I mentioned how, entrepreneurs are constantly running. We help you stop because you have to apply and incorporate. That's how you learn to execute. That's how you iterate and improve, from like making those small mistakes, right? And then we have office hours as well, So of course we have an online, we have a communication channel in regards to how we try to communicate, positive words of affirmation and create that really community feel like immediately in the beginning, because at some point they will become alumni and they have to understand that when you elevate from a village, you don't leave the village, you take it with you, right? So everything that we give them, it becomes their responsibility to reinvest what they have learned, to reinvest, that food that they have received through their product and services, so that's a huge part of what we do. And I enjoy doing the work that I do, with my partner, Chris, as far as being those small business champions.
For the wellness portion, we know that healthy people build healthy businesses. But I think often what happens, we are so busy building that we forget like the builder. We get up every day and we just go. And so the wellness component challenges the entrepreneurs to reimagine how you build your business, because we build from the inside out. And so we go back to the foundation and we assess, how well are you? So one of the things that I love to do on Fridays, I call it the well, because I think of it as a place where you come rest, you come restore, you come replenish. And so I asked the entrepreneurs on the first day, I said, tell me about yourself. And I set them up because I'm good at doing that. And I let them talk about themselves, and it hasn't failed across 4 cohorts. They talk about their business, everything business related. And I let them finish. It hasn't failed where they failed to talk about themselves. Who are you? Do you have kids? Are you from Atlanta? What's your why? Are you spiritual? Who are you? Because that's the question that I ask. I want them to see themselves outside of their business. You are a person who is building a business. You are a builder. And then I want them to assess, what am I building from? We build from the inside out. Am I depressed? Am I stressed? Why are you building? Are you building because everyone in your family has built? Why are you still holding on to your 9 to 5? Are you not ready to leave yet? Or is there fear, right? One of the things that we know is that being an entrepreneur is a different type of journey, right? And we hear often about the loneliness that comes along with it. So this is a space, we created a space where you don't have to feel alone, or we can bounce off of each other. So I'm excited because what we're gonna offer is a place of community, a place where, hey, you've either been through that, oh, you're going through that too? Oh, that's great, because I thought I was by myself, right? And we do assessments. They're all voluntary, so you don't have to do them, but we don't just talk about, you could be anxious, or entrepreneurs are depressed, or burnout. It's like, I want you to know your numbers, right? How anxious are you if you're anxious? Oh, burnout? Is there one type of burnout, or are there multiple types? What's driving your burnout? Is it more I'm not connected to my business? Is it because I'm not resting? We talk about terms such as busy bragging and the impacts of social media on yourself and how you feel. We talk about the spillover effect. Because, sometimes once you build a business, it becomes, I cannot fail. I have missed so many school plays. I have stayed up until 2 a.m. People are watching me. This thing has to succeed. And we talk about the weight of walking around carrying that. And sometimes how we make decisions from that place and how heavy that can be. We keep it real. We're honest. We're vulnerable, because that's where you heal. So it's a special place, special time. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Joy. And Cole, to your point, which goes back to what Daminga said in her devotion statement, and the point that you're also making, Dr. Joy, is people focused. We could talk about equity, we can have all of these slogans, right? But if at the end of the day, the work that's being done isn't taking into account the human beings that should be at the center of the focus, then all of the rest of the talk is for naught, right? So I appreciate that you all are focusing in on what it means to not just be an entrepreneur, but to be a whole person as well. And that's a beautiful thing. And Cole, could you talk a bit more about the coaching program, the mentorship program? Because you also made another point about being able to tell people when to stop. Because I can attest to this, you know, my personal journey, I've had those moments where I'm teetering on the fence of, am I still learning? Am I preparing, or am I procrastinating now? Because sometimes, you know, preparation can sort of melt into procrastination if all you're doing is learning and never applying. So talk a bit more about that mentorship.
Oh man, so the coaching aspect is we love it. You know, Chris and I, you know, as much as we're like brothers and sisters, you know, we create a real a friendly competitive environment. In the video you heard about community over competition, right? You know, so immediately, you know, we jump into coaching, and as a coach, it's a delicate balance of providing, you know, empathy and support and accountability. You know, so when the businesses, some of them is like, you know, we start with the foundation, and the way that the program is laid out, you can't go from, you know, week 1 to week 7, right? You have to go in order of how the program is structured. So when we have some of our coaching sessions, you know, we make sure that the businesses stay exactly where we are during that week. Sometimes they're like, well, I need marketing support. You know, so, you know, as a coaching mechanism, you know, we say, okay, well, you know, let's discuss your operation. Let's discuss your why. You know, let's discuss these foundational things. You know, have you completed your business model canvas yet? Right? Because if you don't understand who you are as a business, your foundation, like your why, your purpose, your mission, your core values, then it's gonna be hard for you to market to a particular audience if you don't understand who you are at your core. You know, as a business owner. You know, so the coaching element is so key and so critical, right? Because you have to be an active listener first, right? You have to actively listen, you know, to them, provide the support within the confines of the curriculum that we created. And then you gotta have a little fun. You know, you have to have a little fun. You know, during our sessions, we provide a lot of energy because there's so much happening in the world. You know, I mean, our program has been virtual, you know, due to the pandemic. You know, so right when they go on and they click on, you hear the music's playing, everybody's up there vibing, having a good old time. And then we try to create this culture about celebration, right? So part of the coaching and mentoring is about celebration. So what are your wins for the week? You know, so, you know, hey, we want everyone to celebrate their wins and understand that there's no win too small. There's no win too big. Celebrate your wins. And we get all types of wins to where it's like, I know I'm behind, coach. I know I'm behind in my assignment, but I stopped and I got my assignment done. You know, I finally got that assessment in on time, and we celebrate that. Like, yes, that's a win. That's a win. Or I went back to my business model canvas, and I got a request, you know, for my service, and I was able to clearly communicate, you know, how I can address my particular customer segment. I was able to be focused and intentional and stay within my scope. You know, part of the challenge is that when you are a business, sometimes the focus kind of gets scattered, right? Because you're trying to eat. You know, I'm gonna add this service. I'm gonna add this additional item of apparel. You know, so we really try to help. You know, the coaching and the mentoring really kind of help them focus on what they can actually execute. You know, within the resources that they currently have.
Mm. And I want to open it up for questions. If anybody in the audience has a question, and anybody watching online, you can just type it into the comment section. But as we're getting the mic over here, Dr. Key, could you talk a bit about, you know, when are businesses ready to enter into the Elevate program?
Sure. Yeah. So we will kick off Elevate West this fall. However, what we're going to start to do immediately after Labor Day is begin to do office hours. Because we do not go into communities and inform communities of this is what you need. We listen. We listen to restaurateurs who've been in the community for years to tell us, like, these are the gaps. And then we build programming based on what we heard. In the education world, that's a needs assessment. And so we complete our needs assessment, and we get my team together to start building curriculum based upon that. But we will get started this fall with office hours where we're listening and learning, and then also going ahead and plugging the businesses in with resources. But the robust program that we're talking about today will kickstart. We're hoping, fingers crossed, if all partnerships are brokered, we'll kickstart in October. And so we're excited about that, excited to get going. But what we're most excited about is all the businesses that we get to learn from in this process, to talk differently, to learn more about the west side of Atlanta and all these hidden gems and notable gems that's on the west side as well.
Get the mic. Who's closer to you?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Beckwith, I wondered if you could address the notion of unresolved trauma and how that affects our communities, our families, and our entrepreneurs.
Yeah, trauma is, it's become more popular. We're talking about it more now. When it comes to entrepreneurs and in some of our small sessions, I teach from the place of little t and big T. We may not label certain things as trauma or traumatic, but our behaviors will reveal that this is coming from somewhere. So it can be something as small/big as our relationship with money. And so sometimes what I help entrepreneurs do in the wellness session, we talk about, why are you afraid of looking at your numbers? Why are you afraid of charging what you're supposed to charge, what your business is worth, what your service is worth? And it's like, oh, I've just been this way, or I'm just happy to be a part of the community. All of that can be true, but we kind of get to the roots of it. And we go back a little bit to talk about, are we building from a place of lack or scarcity mentality, and why that might be? Because I grew up in a situation, or I grew up with a family where we didn't have a whole lot. Or where I didn't feel that my voice mattered. So that's why I don't ask for what I need from my family, or I don't vouch for myself in the community, why I spend money, or I'm afraid to spend money. And so sometimes we are familiar with the behaviors, and if we sit with them for a while and we dig a little bit deeper, we say, okay, this is because of a childhood trauma, maybe little t. It doesn't have to be because you were a part of a car accident or there was a huge robbery somewhere. And so being able to assess the behaviors and taking it back to see what are the roots of that, what are the potential roots of that behavior. And so, which is part of the reason why the wellness program is so important, or the wellness part of the program is so important. We think, oh, I'm just not good with money. Well, mom wasn't good with money. Who taught you to be good with money? And where can I go in order to get that information? So something like that. Yeah, you're welcome.
How are you all doing? What you all are doing is wonderful. I'm very proud. And the question I kind of want to ask this, I worked 20 years at City Hall in community affairs. And when people talk about things, I always look at the bigger picture of things. And what it sounds like that you all are innovators. And what needs to be done in the West Side, credit union or a bank. And what I see right here on this stage are individuals who can become the new innovators of wealth building, and that is banks and credit unions. And I do have the information of individuals who can build banks and credit unions, because I work with a lot of different recording artists. So the point that I'm saying is that entrepreneurship is as good as the bank and where you put your money. And I'm saying you all ought to really look into the possibility of being the innovators of building banks within the community.
I think you raise a really good point. And now, I will say that what we do, I agree that I think the end of any community is where the money is going and where the money is flowing and who's holding the money. Now, we're not a banking institution. I think we can partner with banking institutions, but I think one of the gifts of this organization is knowing where our genius exists, and it's not in creating a financial institution, but it is partnering with financial institutions who believe in efficacy, who believes in community, who looks at these pre-existing ailments of the underbanked community due to undisclosed prejudice. I think we do a very good job of digging in the weeds and asking those hard questions to these banking and financial institutions about how are your practices really set up? Are they really set up in mind with the community, or are you there to do a thing to look like you're doing a thing? But you raise a great point, but I will say we're not a financial institution, but we do believe in partnering with people and with institutions that's their gift. Unless my team knows something different. Yeah, that's not necessarily where our genius exists, but I understand where your mindset is.
And I appreciate that. We got one more question right here. Okay.
I want to hear you talk about the balance between the all-consuming need to make something work. In my limited experience, one has to be irrationally committed to getting something done and stop at nothing. So that and the wellness piece, Dr. Joy, you're talking about seems to collide. And how does one mesh those two? Because there is no business without up at 2 o'clock in the morning. There is no business without going the extra 10 miles. And I'm sure John can speak to that in terms of making Westside work, or the Westside Superfund work. It's not for the faint of heart, is it? And yet, how do we balance?
That is an exceptional question that I think we all can answer. Entrepreneurship requires a level of grit. It also requires a level of resolve that you must have with yourself. Because before a thing becomes a thing that is cool, it is a thing that is unfavorable to people. And so when you have something unfavorable, something that's not popular, something that people really haven't latched on to, you got to have the level of faith that it requires to know that this dream, this vision that you have is real. And it almost comes to a place of insanity, that the way that you have to be louder than that voice that tells you that it is not your time, to know that you will meet your time if you have the work ethic that is required. And the key word is work ethic. But I think what complements any work ethic is knowing when to step back and zoom out and when to rest. Nothing greater has come to me when the moments that I had clarity. Clarity helped me to not make knee-jerk reactions. Clarity makes sure that I had the discernment to not partner with institutions that historically have not supported Black businesses, regardless of how much money they tried to offer me. I think you need grit, but you also need rest. And I believe what we're working on is making sure these things appear seamlessly. Right. But there is no way an entrepreneur in the audience that say that they want to build, and I'm very fortunate, it is not a boast here, but I built 7-figure companies all in the same year. It did not happen. It did not happen because I had little faith. It did not happen because I took several days off to vacation and Instagram it. It did not happen because I thought I was the smartest person in the room. It did not happen because I was afraid to partner with other people. It did not happen because I sit every single day as a student and as a leader, and I love being in both seats. You have to be able to know when it's your time to stand and when it's your time to sit. And for entrepreneurs and for people who are waiting for their time, you have to have big faith, unwavering belief in who you are, but also a sincere honesty about the things that you do not possess. And it takes a person to know that this is not where my genius is. And I must get a team of rock stars to complement my genius in order to birth this gift that I have that keeps me up at night.
That's a whole word right there. That's a whole word. Anybody want to add anything else to that?
I was just going to highlight what she said. I don't think that it has to be something that is separate. I think that we build from the inside out, and we build effectively from a place of rest. I think there are going to be moments where you are staying up late at night. There are going to be moments where you're a little bit more fatigued than not. But we want to be able to recognize when I'm going down, recognize when I'm anxious, recognize when I need to rest, or recognize that this is just for this moment because I have a big launch tomorrow. If every single night you are staying up to 3 a.m. in the morning, every single night, it's like I want you to know what the effects of that are. like I'm going to burn out, and that's not the end goal. So we are having or encouraging entrepreneurs to reimagine the strategy in which we build, where rest is not an afterthought, but rest is a part of, you know, the tool that you use as you are building. And so it doesn't have to necessarily be something that is separate. And we talk about it. We talk about, I'm tired, or I stayed up late last night. Okay, great, I'm happy to know it's not just me. Or, you know, I spent a lot of time reading, or I have imposter syndrome. So we talk about those things because we can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can be anxious and still build, but really knowing, okay, what is it that I am feeling? And what are the strategies that target that? Because hiking a tree does not work for everybody. So when I'm when I'm exhausted, what's going to refill that cup, right? When I have decision fatigue, what do I do? Because then you're taking a nap, but guess what? You can't rest. It's not effective sleep. Or you're taking a nap, but you're still anxious. And so being able to label, what are you experiencing? What's going on while I'm building? And what are the strategies so I can continue to build, but also take care of myself? Yeah.
That's excellent. And I'll leave the last question to you, Cole. What makes a business ready to enter the program? Because, you know, there are different phases to a startup, right? You got the ideation phase where you still, you know, putting the idea together or whatnot. But then you have this sort of hazy phase between that and actually having a product ready to go, not necessarily scale up just yet, but ready to go. So at what phase is a business ready to enter into the Elevate program?
I'm going to answer this question differently.
Okay.
That depends on the business. That really depends on the business. But I'm going to tell you what we're doing that is unique in itself. So when you think about the program and our work, what success is a verb, what success is a verb looks like is our village united. What success is a verb looks like is our village united. So as a business gets ready to say, I have an idea that I want to pursue. Support is a verb, action. I want to start a business. So there's me, what I bring to the table, my superpowers, my gifts. But how do you manage that? How do you juggle that? How do you create balance? It's a village being united. Action again. Help you on your way. We all need that support, right? But it has to be quality. It has to be intentional. It has to come from a place of love. And that's the vision. That's the vision that our leader has shared with us. And we all are playing our part. We all have a unique role. And it's that entrepreneur that has a unique role to pursue his or her dream, to become great, to fail and to learn, but again, to feed and to give back into that village, into that community. And I think we got it right.
Yeah, I think we're getting it right. But can I add, because I want to make sure the businesses understand that it is a program that once you sign up to be a part of it, there's accountability that you show up, that you complete your assignments, that you meet with your small business coach. And accountability is a big thing that every entrepreneur needs to understand. There's nothing in life that's given to you. So there's an olive branch that's going to be extended, but what reaps from that olive branch is the work that you put out. And so we remove businesses from the program if they've missed too many classes. We remove businesses from the program if they're not completing their assignments. Now, we don't push businesses out and say the door is closed. We extend the invitation when you're ready to revisit us. But the thing about the village, that when you graduate and when you mature, when your business grows from a single-figure company to a six-figure company, there's a responsibility that you pour back into the village.
Yes.
And so when you become an alumni, just like if you do at your institution where you went to school, if you went to school, that there's alumni dues. For us, dues are not financial. It's dues that are resources. So when you broker your deal with Target, when you come back to the village, you tell the village how you brokered that deal with Target. When you open your first brick and mortar location, you talk about what you went through with real estate developers. You talk about your lease. You talk and you train about your lease, because that is the requirement when you sign the dot, that you're going to be a part of this village. There is a dual responsibility. We're going to make sure that we give you everything that we have. But when you began to ascend, when you began to elevate, it's just like an eagle. You have to make sure that you're always zooming down and being prepared to get someone else to get to that same level that you're at. That is the only way that we will ever create a beloved community. And I hope that people understand here that building a business for yourself is failure, that the community should reap from your overflow.
Thank you so much for that. That was beautiful. And I want you all to help me thank our special guest. We're going to bring up, that was a perfect segue to bring up some of our success stories right now. And I want to welcome to the stage Miss Jennet and Miss Jade. They are both entrepreneurs, solopreneurs who have gone through the Elevate program, and they have a wonderful story to tell, I would suppose. And we want to welcome them to the stage. Thank you guys for joining. All right, Miss Jade, Teacher Jade, thank you so much. And weathered but not worn. Love it.
Weathered not worn.
Weathered not worn. Yes. And let's start with you, Ms. Jennet. What gave you the idea for Weathered Not Worn? What was the vision behind that?
Oh, well, hi again. My name is Jennet Jackson. I'm owner of Weathered Not Worn. I build the brand with my husband, Derek. We started the company in 2017. Weathered Not Worn is a lifestyle brand that inspires people to embrace your story and express your style through unique, customized denim and camo apparel. So we started the business in 2017, actually in the midst of our own personal storm. Derek and I were going through a rocky time in our marriage, and then fueling that, he lost a six-figure job, and that put additional stress on our marriage and our household. We were forced to move into his mom's basement, and there, with no windows, felt like no air, was birthed Weathered Not Worn. I wanted to find a way to just bring in some additional income, and I love fashion. A lot of people complimented me on my denim, and I love distressing denim. There's a thing about worn denim that was just attractive to me. I think it just has character. And so I started the business, and at first it was my family and friends who were supporting. But then when I got that one sale from somebody that I didn't know, I was like, wow. And then a sale from somebody that wasn't living in Georgia, I was like, I might have something here. So needless to say, Derek and I, we decided to join hands and build the business together. And he serves as operational manager, and I kind of take care of the creative side of the business. 2020 had its unfortunate times for a lot of people, but for us, it grew our marriage. It caused us to kind of be still and look at each other and look at our business. And also in 2020, we got this phone call. Well, no, it was an email from Dr. Key. And she was like, you know, I'm doing this retail space at Ponce City Market. I think you should apply. Like, okay. We applied, we got in. Our business that we started in his mom's basement grew to generating revenue over 6 figures once we got into the village. And it was just amazing. Now, I participated in the Village Market ATL as a vendor, and even at that point, it grew my confidence and my belief in the brand. I was able to see that, hey, this Weathered Not Worn resonates with people. And why wouldn't it? We're all weathered in here, but you're not worn because you're here. So we ended up in the Village Market, did really well, and then Dr. Key again reached out and said, I think you should participate in the Elevate program. And so Derek and I signed up for Elevate. We got accepted to be a part of the program. And it was amazing. We had access to, it's like you don't know what you don't know. And our business had reached a point where we kind of hit a ceiling. Like we didn't know how to go any further or what that looked like or how to navigate in that space. And so Elevate kind of opened our eyes to something bigger outside of our box that we were in. M. Cole kind of gave us a vision of having our own denim line with our own weathered, not worn on the back. When we met with Chris, she offered ideas to help us manage our business better. Thinking about duties and responsibilities and sharing the work. And it was just an amazing experience. The speakers, the people we had access to, the resources, these were things we would have never, I don't believe, come across had we not been a part of Elevate. And it's just been uphill from then. We're still connected to people from our cohort, and it's just been amazing. It's been an amazing journey.
Excellent. And Miss Jade Weatherington, you started Teacher Jade's Writing Academy. Tell us about the vision behind that and how Elevate has helped you.
Okay, so I'm really good at making short stories long, so I'm trying not to do that. But I was a solopreneur. I was teaching online. I've been teaching online for 15 years, but it was always a side hustle. So classroom teachers, we don't make a lot of money, but I have a child, I have bills. I had to have something on the side. So teaching online and tutoring online was the side hustle until it became the business. And it took me a while to have that mindset shift where I was making more money than I had ever made in my entire life teaching online. So that's when I quit all my jobs. So I was working like 6 jobs, right? I quit all my jobs and I fully focused on creating this academy. So it started off with homeschool families. So I homeschooled my daughter and I created Ashante's Academy, and I only had homeschool families. And then I found out about a platform. I started offering my classes on this platform and it kind of took off, but it was still just me. And I'm like, okay, well, how can I generate this income but also generate more income without having to work more? And so when I signed up for Elevate, it was actually an Instagram post. I was scrolling through and I saw this post, like, oh, let me apply. And I applied that evening, but it was after the cutoff time. So I got an email that said, unfortunately, you didn't make it, but we'll think about it. It said something along those lines. So I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, at 6 o'clock, when I could have sat down and did it, and I decided to wait till 10 o'clock. And then maybe a week later, I got the email saying that I was in. And I was sitting on the couch with my daughter, and we were doing, I can't remember what we were studying at that moment, but I checked my emails because she was doing something, so I checked my email and I started crying. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm in, because I was looking for something, and I found it without even knowing what I needed. And the hard part was not knowing what I needed. Yeah. So I'm there, and I'm like, I'm trying to scale, but I don't know what the next steps are. And I was raised in survivor mode. So all I know is go get it, go get it, go get it. But I didn't know how to stop and ask people for help. I didn't know how to do that. So being in Elevate and having that community has helped me tremendously. And I'll say one thing, when I started, I was trying to move away from my service, which was teaching online, and move into products, because I felt like that was what was going to help me become more successful. Because I found programs for people in retail and beauty, but I couldn't find anything for education that was for profit. So it was really difficult. So I remember my first office hours, I told M. Cole that I was gonna do products. He was like, why? And I was like, because that's what people do. They make products. And so he's like, no, that's not what you're gonna focus on. I listened that time. The second office hours, I didn't listen to him because I was like, I'm about to hire teachers. I was like, I think he was like, well, start with 1 or 2. Start slow, see how that works out. Our next session, I was like, I got 5 teachers. So it has absolutely helped me elevate my business and knowing what I needed, because again, I didn't know what I needed. And I remember some of the other sessions, they would say things like, I'm like, I don't know what that is. So after the session, I was the person who's in the back who wouldn't raise their hand. I'm taking notes. I'm like, ROI, I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna go look that up. And I'm still learning. Like, it's still so much that I was able to get from the program, and I try to give it back a little bit. So every time I meet someone, I'm like, yo, you need a mentor, you need a business coach, you need this if you're gonna be successful. If you're used to trying to do everything by yourself and you're not getting anywhere, then you have to take those next steps.
What would you all say is the biggest success for each of you all, each of your businesses since you entered the Elevate? So like if you can pinpoint a specific moment, a specific achievement where you really thought, wow, this is it, like I've done it, what would that moment be after you entered Elevate?
Well, I don't know if I've reached that moment yet. I think it's coming, like I can feel it. But along the way, just with the creation of our own denim line, we did create our own denim line, and I believe that was, it's sparked through the Elevate program. Also, just getting systems in place, I think is the biggest thing, the biggest thing right now that I would say has been successful since we've been in the Elevate program. Bookkeeping, things that we were just doing haphazardly, just getting systems in place.
Teacher Jade.
I would have to say it's the partnerships. Because again, it was just, I was tunnel vision. It was me doing everything. So being able to not just connect with the people that were in Elevate, but then also reaching out to other organizations so that my academy, which is virtual, could partner with districts, could partner with different organizations, which wasn't something that I would have thought about doing. So I remember we were discussing partnerships and collabing with people, and I was just like, that's the thing? Okay, I need to do that. So it's helped me make those connections that I don't want to say I was fearful to do, I just didn't know how to. I didn't know those steps, so I think that's probably like my biggest accomplishment, stepping outside of my own self.
Do we have any questions from our audience for our two success stories here? Dr. Hallmon.
One thing that Jennet hasn't mentioned, she has a new location. So I have a question. Where's your new location?
So recently we celebrated 5 years in our business, and we decided to take the showroom that was in our home. We were having porch sales to Pittsburgh Yard, and it has been so amazing. If you've not visited Pittsburgh Yard, the community is amazing. The people are amazing. Ty, right there, the photographer, he's my next door neighbor. But it's just, it's a beautiful space, and it's such a community. Like, it feels like community there, and we're just so honored to be a part of the Pittsburgh community now. We live 2 minutes away. We can literally walk to Pittsburgh Yard. So it's been an amazing experience.
Yeah, I highly recommend if you haven't visited Pittsburgh Yard, please go down there. I was able to walk through when they were still building it out, when they were first going through that building out phase, and it's amazing. It does incredible work. Got another question right here, Mr. Dan Cathy.
Mine is mainly just a word of affirmation for the work that the village is doing. I just remind you that Chick-fil-A, a business that my dad started some 76 years ago, really is a community of entrepreneurs. We today operate about 3,000 restaurants that are led by about 2,000 entrepreneurs that over the course of time have come into this system. And we are able to teach them systems and processes that will help them be more successful in their business. We regularly gather them in different levels of, on an annual basis. We do regional planning meetings together, but basically give them the support system they need, both in terms of business processes, but also emotional support that they need as well, so that they can be balanced in all areas of life. It's not just about goal setting, but it's also about role setting. It is about affirming the roles of healthy families, parenting skills in the midst of tremendous pressure that people feel because of investors and others that are helping support, capitalize the business as well. So it is an incredibly demanding thing to be an entrepreneur, to start up businesses, to be a founder generation. But it's also critically important that we're backfilling the successors that we're going to take our life's work and continue it on. as John Maxwell says, success is about succession. And so there's so many different components here so that we can rapidly learn and assure that our, together, we can be successful in this venture. I love what we're doing as it relates to economic mobility as we're focusing on through our recent beloved benefit. And the work that you're doing is doing exactly that. It's all about upward mobility, economic opportunity for all. By shepherding everyone together and giving them that encouragement, we've been able to achieve a 98% retention rate among our restaurant operators, and it's because we're stronger and better together than we are independently. So I salute the work that you're doing. You've done a terrific job.
And I think that's a perfect segue as we wrap up here. I also got a chance to tour Chick-fil-A's amazing campus. I appreciate the invite, Dan. But I think the common theme between Chick-fil-A and what you guys are doing with our Village United and Village Market is really investing in people, really investing in the human beings. There's a lot to say for companies that have started from great ideas and they've, built themselves out to be, X-figure businesses, but there's something else to say about businesses that have a specific culture that is unique to them, a culture that is respectful of the individuals that, add to its success. And I see that transition, I see that translating here with your success stories, Teacher Jade and Ms. Jennet. And I'm really, really inspired by the work that you're doing because you have other entrepreneurs here who have showed up to support you. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming out. Thank you all for joining us this morning, Ms. Jackson, Ms. Weatherington. And of course, thank everybody who tuned in online. Thank you all for joining us in person. And with that being said, I know we have to get going, but I just wanted to extend a congratulations to each of you on your success. And we know that this is just the beginning. We know that you are going to continue to elevate and become that eagle that's soaring and zooming down to help somebody else. So thank you. Appreciate you. All right. I want to bring back up our co-host as our special guest exit the stage. And one more round of applause for everybody. Thank you. All right, special co-host, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling?
Thank
Any
you.
thoughts?
Yes.
Reflections?
Such an excellent conversation. I mean, excellent. I heard so many different terms and quips. Success is about succession. I don't know which one of our panelists said, you don't want to just scale, you want to scale well. Just so much knowledge, So thank you. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for the excellent moderation. And we appreciate you guys being here again as well.
No, that was awesome, y'all. I was thinking about the frame, the beloved community.
Yes.
Can you have a beloved community without a Village United? I don't think you can. At least my own reflection on it. And then I didn't realize. I mean, I know we worked how holistic you are in caring, which I also appreciate because as Benjamin shared, I've also struggled a lot in my life with anxiety and depression. And hearing your intentionality around that, because one of the attractions to me about a beloved community is a safe place to share those vulnerabilities. And then sharing those vulnerabilities, I won't be, because the inner narrative is you might not be embraced. So your intentionality and that holisticness is awesome. So maybe we give one more, and then also hear great Dan, one of America's most successful companies and brands, about your intentionality about working with you and how all that links together. So there's some power in community. So thank you. Let's give one more round as we.
And this has got to be, if I can say, one of the most stylish, panelists.
Yeah.
Like group of panelists that we've ever had. I'm like, oh my gosh, every
the
single
whole
one of
panel
y'all.
clean this morning. Listen.
Yes. Sorry, I always got to say something, off script. Sorry, John. And if it is time, if you guys are done with your thoughts, I can go ahead and
give away some gift cards.
Yeah, we're
That's
going to give
right.
away some gift cards. I think I'm going to be. Yeah. What's going on? Yes. No problem. Should we get her a microphone? So sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. They're going to get you a microphone, okay?
Thank you. Hi, Waduda Muhammad. I work at the Atlanta Contemporary Art Center. I came here with the goal of learning about the businesses that are in the community and how we as a brick and mortar nonprofit can learn about who is here. So my question is, I guess, Westside Fund, do you have like a map or database of all the businesses that are here so that we can do outreach to them and get them to come to our facility?
So the question is, I think, does the Westside Future Fund have a database of some of the businesses we heard about this morning that are working on the West Side? Is that? Yes. I mean, I'm not going to claim that it's everything, but we will be happy making sure we can follow up with you and share the database that we do have, and it's a great point, you know, as we continue to build out that database. So thank you for that question. We'll follow up with you.
We'll follow up with you. Absolutely. Thank you. I think someone's bringing up the bowls for me to pull from. There you go. All right, y'all. Get
And while our lovely assistant, Ms. Rachel, is bringing those up, I want to make sure that everybody,
Westside Future Fund.
everybody tuned in and everybody here, make sure you follow our two success stories here, Teacher Jade's Writing Academy, as well as Weathered Not Worn. These are two amazing businesses, again, that have benefited from the tremendous work that the Elevate program is doing. So make sure you follow them on all channels.
Absolutely. Okay, so as you guys, some of you may or may not know, Home Depot Foundation has invested literally millions and millions of dollars, okay, towards revitalization of the West Side. And again, they're giving something away today, too. They're giving a gift card. So everybody pull out your red tickets first. And the winning number for the Home Depot Foundation gift card is 3990539. 399. Ah, congratulations. Okay. Congratulations. Thank you. That's so cute. Now, we want to get a picture with you, okay? So don't leave with the gift card. Make sure you come back up here at the end, okay?
All right, congrats.
Thank you. Congratulations.
All right, that's,
All right. And now we're going to give away the Goodwill of North Georgia card. So I don't know how many of you know that Goodwill just opened up a new location a few months ago. I don't know the exact address, but it is on Metropolitan Parkway, okay? It's awesome. I've already went in there and found me some good deals. So please go check it out, okay? And they're giving something away today as well. Winning gift card number for Goodwill of North Georgia card is 130160. 130160. Who's that? Woo! Congratulations. Come on up or come on down. There you go. Excuse me. All right. Congratulations. Make sure you come back so we can get a picture with you, okay?
All right. Congrats to our lucky winners.
Congrats.
John, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Wow.
Put him on the spot.
Well, one, I was just, appreciate the intentionality of building community. So some of the folks I'm looking at in the audience have been coming to the summits for a long time, and I just want to, just say thank you to that, and just kind of reminded about the intentionality about, by coming together in a common vision, where that can lead. So thank you all for being here this morning, because if you weren't here, wouldn't be near as much fun. So thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, we will be back August 5th. We'll be happy to share this space with you once again. Again, thank you to everybody who tuned in on social. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Again, like, share, subscribe, help us get all of this information out that happens here at the summits. These summits are a wonderful opportunity to network, wonderful opportunity to actually invest in building a truly equitable, beloved community here on the West Side. And so thank you for everybody that is taking part in that progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, y'all stay safe.
Yeah, no, and I think, that in the beginning, and if you go to our website, you can register at that Party with the Past,
yes.
Free registration, free food, free refreshments.
Right.
St. Mark's, which is at the epicenter of really the focus of lifting up the English Avenue Community Cameron Alexander and James B. Brawley. So you don't have to set your alarm clock as early to come to that event. So we'd love to see everyone there too.
July 28th, yes. Please come out and see us.
All right, thank you all. We'll see y'all August 5th. Appreciate it.